Hello students, I welcome you all for this lecture on the orientation that is required for economic survey. My friends, you are aware economic survey is a very significant document. Every year at least 10 questions you can source it either directly or indirectly from economic survey. Most of the successful students, what they do is they rely on primary sources. In this case, reading entire economic survey. Not reading on the gist of economic survey which is freely available on the internet. At Ignite IAS, we focus on reading from the primary source. That is, a student is expected to read the entire document of economic survey. Now it might appear to be very difficult, it might appear to be too cumbersome, but let me tell you how you can manage the time, how you can read effectively the economic survey. Usually in economic survey, there are three types of questions. That is, one is based on the concept that is fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, capital output ratio, tax to GDP ratio. These are the concepts. Every year you will see frequent number of questions in this area. Second aspect is about the factual information. That is, let us say there is this shale gas reserves. Which of the following areas or which of the following states have proven shale gas reserves? This particular information will be there in the economic survey. And the other important aspect is the application of the data. Usually if you are noticing, there are certain trend related questions. That is, fiscal deficit has increased or fiscal deficit has reduced, tax to GDP ratio has increased over the previous years. So these are the broad three types of questions that are usually asked from economic survey. Now, here you should understand economic survey is not just an isolated document. If you read and revise economic survey, in the process you are revising your entire economy section. So kindly understand, instead of practicing shortcuts, if you read and if you tend to identify some of the core areas of economic survey, your purpose is better served. Now let me tell you about the approach of dealing with economic survey. We at Ignite IAS have a graded approach when it comes to dealing with economic survey. As I have told you, economic survey we focus on reading the entire document rather than the gist of economic survey. So what we have done is, for the first chapter, that is nothing but introduction of economic survey, I have discussed the entire chapter, the potential topics or the important topics in that chapter. I have asked my students to underline and I have explained those topics as well. Now, when it comes to second chapter, I have asked my students themselves to identify the key areas of that particular chapter. And I have asked students to study on those topics as well. And finally, the most interesting part is I have asked my students to frame the questions, keeping in mind the previous year's economy questions. So I strongly believe that your highest stage or your evolved preparation is the one where you have the ability to frame the questions. Remember, when you are framing the questions, obviously you will be reading that particular topic from an exam perspective. The day you are able to frame the questions, at least in your mind, then I can surely say you have mastered the prelims preparation. So in this regard, I have asked my students to frame the questions. And obviously, after every chapter, we have conducted tests. So entire economic survey was dealt in this method. That is, self-study, identifying the topics, question making and exams. So our students have this capacity of answering almost all the questions from economy sections. So I'll let my students to discuss the orientation part further. They will be highlighting the previous year's questions, the sourcing of the questions from economic survey. And in the link below, I will be segregating topics from each chapter. You can access that link also. So I'll be asking my students to take over this lecture further. They will be explaining about the orientation of economic survey, and obviously they will be displaying the previous year's questions, and they will be highlighting the source of those questions as well. And also in the link below, all the topics that were segregated from economic survey will be displayed chapter wise. Please go through those topics. If you feel that you have very less time, especially those students who are writing prelims this year on May 28th, instead of reading this document, at least have a good understanding of the topics that are mentioned in the below document. On that note, I would ask my students to take over.
Hello everyone, myself Lahari from degree second year. In this session, we will discuss economy survey and how economy survey is interlinked with economy of UPSC. Many aspirants only refer NCERTs and standard books but neglect this economy survey. In this session, we represent how economy survey is essential in our UPSC journey. Now, I will discuss 2022 paper and interlink with 2021 to 22 economy survey document which is released by Government of India. First question. Rapid financing instrument and rapid credit facility are related to the provisions of lending by which of the following? Asian Development Bank and International Monetary Fund, United Nations Environment Programs Finance Initiative and World Bank. So the answer is IMF. If we get into the document of economy survey, we directly find this answer by reading itself. So if we look at this, here it's mentioned about IMF. So we can easily eliminate the wrong options and we can put the answer it as IMF. Next question. With reference to Indian economy, consider the following statements. An increase in nominal effective exchange rate, which is nothing but NER, indicates the appreciation of rupee. An increase in the real effective exchange rate, RER, indicates an improvement in the trade competitiveness. Third one. An increasing trend in domestic inflation relative to inflation in other countries likely to cause an increasing in divergence between NER and RER. So let's get into the options. Which of the following statements are correct? By looking into the document, we can directly eliminate the second option, which is an increasing in the real effective exchange rate indicates an improvement in trade competitiveness. It is wrong. The first option is right and also followed by third option. So answer is C. Let us get into third question. With reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. If inflation is too high, Reserve Bank of India, which is nothing but RBI, is likely to buy government securities. And if the rupee is rapidly depreciating, RBI is likely to sell dollars in the market. If interest rates in the USA or European Union were to fall, that is likely to induce RBI to buy dollars. So if you read again this document, it is nothing but same chapter, third chapter itself, external sector, we can easily eliminate first option where inflation is too high. RBI never likely to buy government securities. So the answer is 2 and 3. By this, I conclude my discussion by saying that if we are getting 3 questions from this chapter itself, we found many questions from other chapters. So it clearly indicates that economic survey is very essential in our journey. I hand over to my fellow mate, Varshini.
Hello everyone, myself Varshini. As discussed by Lahari, the economic survey topic further discussion will be held by me. Question: which one of the following situations best reflects indirect transfers often talked about in media recently with reference to India? Option A, an Indian economy investing in a foreign enterprise and paying taxes to the foreign country on the profits arising out of its investment. Option B, a foreign company investing in India and paying taxes to the country of its base on the profits arising out of its investment. Option C, an Indian company purchase tangible assets in a foreign country and sell such assets after their value increase and transfer the proceeds to India. Option D, a foreign company transfers shares and such shares derive their substantial value from assets located in India. The correct option is option D, and the indirect transfers can be seen in the economic survey of the year 2021 and 22 in the chapter physical development. Indirect transactions means it is a provision introduced in the IT Act in the 2012 with the retrospective effect. Only those indirect transactions wherein more than 50% of underlying assets are in India will be subjected to levy capital gains tax in India. The next question, with reference to expenditure made by an organization or a company, which of the following statements are correct? Statement 1, acquiring new technology is capital expenditure. Statement 2, debt financing is considered capital expenditure while equity financing is considered to be revenue expenditure. Here the option 1 is correct. The capital expenditure means It is a money spent by the government on the development of machinery, equipment, building, health facilities, education and etc. This capital expenditure can be related to economic survey of year 2021 and 22 in the chapter state and its economy. Next question. With reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statement. A share of household financial savings goes towards government borrowings. Statement 2. Dated securities issued at market related rates in auction from the large component of internal debt. Here the option A is correct. Dated securities means debt instruments issued by the government that offer investment options with long-term maturity period. Dated securities can be related to the economic survey in the chapter of physical development. The next discussion will be held by my friend Shravani. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Shravani and I am from D2. Now I am going to discuss the continuation of the economic survey important questions. So the first question is, with reference to Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, consider the following statements. Statement 1. Private and public hospitals must adopt it. Second statement. As it aims to achieve universal health coverage, every citizen of India should be part of it ultimately. Third statement. It has seamlessly portability across country. Which of the following statements are correct? Option D is correct, which is only 3. Next. So now I will discuss in brief about Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission Scheme. So it is launched in September 2021. It is implemented by National Health Authority, which falls under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The aim of the scheme is to develop backbone necessary to support for the integrated digital health infra of the country. Under the scheme, each citizen will be given a unique health ID with all of the health profile of this individual. So in economic survey of 2021, there is a direct reference of Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission Scheme in chapter 10, that is social infra and employment. So next question. Consider the following statement. Tight monetary policy of US Federal Reserve could lead to capital flight. Second statement. Capital flight might increase interest cost of firms with existing external commercial borrowings. Statement 3. Devaluation of domestic currency decreases the currency risk associated with external commercial borrowings. Which of the following statements are correct? Option A is correct, which is only 1 and 2. So now I am going to discuss about capital flight and external commercial borrowing. Capital flight is a phenomena in which there are large outflow of assets or capital from country due to political or economic instability. So external commercial borrowing helps to raise funds in foreign currency from outside India. So in economic survey of 2021 and 22, there is a direct reference of external commercial borrowings in chapter 3, that is external sector. Now let's move on to the next question. In India, which of the following institution is responsible for maintaining price stability by controlling inflation? Option A, Department of Consumer Affairs. Option B, Expenditure Management Commission. Option C, Financial Stability and Development Council. Option D, RBI. The correct answer is RBI. So inflation is nothing but is a general rise in the price level of goods and services over a period of time. In India, RBI is responsible for the maintenance of price stability. Price stability is a condition in which where domestic currency retains its purchasing power by maintaining low or stable inflation. So in economic survey 2021 and 22, there is a direct reference of inflation in chapter 5, which deals with prices and inflation. So now my friend Gayatri will continue the rest of the discussion.
We have seen how economic survey questions have been discussed by our fellow mates. Now I'll continue the discussion with the remaining questions. Now the first question is, which of the following constitutes the real sector in the economy? Here they have given 4 statements, which are farmers harvesting their crops. The second one is textile mills converting raw cotton into fertilizers. The third one is commercial bank lending money to a trading company. And the fourth, a corporate body issuing rupee denominated bonds. So they are asking the components of the real sector. So if we refer the economic survey in the chapter of domestic economic activity, is directly present in the services chapter. So this direct reference can indirectly give us an intimation that the components of domestic economic activity itself is the real sector. So its components are general government sector, real sector and financial sector. The subcomponents of real sector are those like economics money holding is called as the real sector. So this deals with the production side. In these 4 statements, we have seen that the first 2 statements refers to the production. So here the answer is 1 and 2 only. If we read the chapter of services, we can answer this question easily. Now let us get into the second question. The second question is given as follows. The convertible bonds, referring to this, we have to consider the following statements. As there is an option to exchange bond for equity, convertible bonds pay a lower rate of interest. The option to convert to equity affords the bondholder a degree of indexation to rising consumer prices. So here in this question, they have focused highly on the equity and the convertible bonds being related to it. If we refer the chapter called Monetary Management and Financial Intermediation of the Economic Survey 2021 and 22, one can easily answer this question through eliminating the options. So, although there is no possibility to eliminate here, we can directly refer the equity as because the convertible bonds mean the hybrid security which offers investors best of both stocks and as well as shares. So, equity, as we know, it's amount of capital invested or owned by a company's owner. So, the answer would be C for this question. Now, let's go into the third question. In India, which one of the following compiles information on industrial disputes, closures, retrenchments and layoffs in factories employing workers? So, here they have given 4 organizations out of which we have to choose one. The first one is CSO, the second one is Department for Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade. The third one is Labour Bureau and the fourth one is National Technological Manpower Information System. This question answer is Labour Bureau. So, one has to know that referring Labour Bureau before attempting this UPSC prelims of 2022. So, the Labour Bureau is referred to in the chapter called Prices and Inflation in Economic Survey. So, Labour Bureau comes under Ministry of Labour and Employment. So, Labour Bureau compiles the information on these industrial disputes, closures and retrenchments. So, by these 3 questions, I would like to conclude the discussion of economic survey discussed by my friends too. I would like to tell that not only these 12 questions have come from the economic survey. Out of UPSC 2022, out of 100 questions, we have witnessed that 18 questions are from economy chapter, and out of these 18 questions, we have discussed only 12 questions to create an awareness among the UPSC aspirants. So, I can tell that all these 18 questions are directly from the economic survey of the year 2021 and 2022. One aspirant has to refer to this economic survey highly because this is a direct source from the government. So, we can anticipate the topics that are mentioned in the economic survey in the UPSC prelims of 2023, which is going to be held in May 28th. So, this economic survey plays a crucial role in building basics of our economy and not only limiting to the NCERTs and standard books which are being referred by many UPSC aspirants, but one has to go through these economic survey and budget to make our economy UPSC preparation a standard level. So, all the questions required like the economic survey screenshots and also the questions are being mentioned in the description box. One can refer to it at the end of this video. Thank you.
Thank you, dear students. That was a wonderful lecture. If you have listened to this lecture closely, one thing you would notice is they are really confident about the economy part. So, this confidence is the byproduct of doing their economic survey religiously. So, I do wish you can also contemplate on the demands of economic survey and do this document religiously. On this note, I would like to conclude. Thank you so much.